Kurt Thompson has a quote in one of his books that says, "Every baby comes into the world looking for someone looking for them." And I think we all come into the world going, who's looking for me? And I think the world, unfortunately, teaches us more about fitting in versus belonging. And to fit in, we have to modify ourselves. We have to look at what's missing. We have to kind of figure out, if I tweak this, give up this, do this, then I'll belong, versus nothing's missing. You're whole and beautiful as you are, and I'm looking for you. And I think now more than ever, people are super isolated coming out of, well, I fit in, but I don't belong. And so I think first kind of starting with belonging being very different than fitting in. And that it's just this core need that we all have to be in community, to be in relationship, to not be isolated, but to be seen as we really are, whole person, inside and out, and given acceptance, given love, and invited into the space to belong. But I think this idea that I'm looking outward to tell me where I belong is the wrong place to start. And part of the message of the book is, I belong to me first. And when I belong to me, and you belong to you, so we're both doing the same thing, then we get to belong to each other, and we do this thing called community, which is really beautiful. I think some of the things that push against that are this idea that that's selfish, to belong to ourselves, that there's something wrong about that. By holding on to me, it's a grip into sort of selfish. And I think the irony that happens for a lot of people is, I'm going to search for everyone else to tell me how I can fit in, because I'm ultimately searching for belonging, but what I'm doing is fitting in, and I let go of all these parts of myself. So how does someone belong to me if there's no me to belong to? But unfortunately, what will happen is we do become very selfish and isolated, because we become very resentful of everyone taking these parts of ourselves in order to fit in. And so then we kind of pull inward in the selfish that's not healthy, versus this sort of love of self in a healthy sense of speaking. I think holding on to ourselves first and getting to know ourselves, and all the beautiful, like the tree metaphor in the book, her branches, her roots, her bark, it's all this, it makes her that very specific tree that she is unique to anyone else in the forest. And she knows that and loves that and honors that, and then can look at other people and go, oh, look at you and all of the parts of you. And I think it's this, again, starting with I'm living out my own marvelous meant to be self is sort of a counter narrative, I think, in culture. And so I wrote the book for the kids around us and the kids inside of us. You can learn more about my work at KimberlyGalindo.com, and you can find the book on Amazon or Barnes & Noble.